Why do they always look the same? You know what I mean, they all have that look. Scruffy, passive-aggressive, balding, short-sighted, condescending, virtue signaling, sometimes overweight, toothy grinned social lepers. Or in other words, Reddit moderators. The people who moderate subreddits. Subreddits at the front page of the internet. I mean, Reddit as a whole has now become the 11th most visited site globally. And the people in charge of Reddit is a powerful clique of Reddit mods and admins. I mean, in 2020, it was revealed that just 6 of these Reddit mods control 118 of the top 500 subreddits. These are the people who determine what posts are allowed, what comments you can type, what posts are deleted, and what opinions can flourish. It's literally gotten to a point now where mods are deleting 6% of all Reddit posts, with most of these deleted posts being things that go against the beliefs of mods. And if you don't like the mods' actions, you will be banished to the digital gulag, effectively granting these Reddit mods the control of information. But it doesn't stop there, because Reddit mods are no longer just controlling subreddits, they're now running the most powerful companies in the world. Reddit, Facebook, YouTube. These people are programming our culture and society. Their actions shape our minds. They are inadvertently responsible for many of the political and social trends we see today. And yet the weirdest part of all of this is that these Reddit mods all share that same look. A look that transcends genders and even age groups. Could it just be that terminally online weirdos are generally apathetic about their physical appearance? Or is there something specific? And even more importantly, how have these people gained so much power? Well, in this video, you'll soon understand that the reason for their distinct look is the reason for their power. And it's their power that is subtly changing the society we live in. Trust me when I say that this entire thing is a rabbit hole. The year is 2005. The internet was up for grabs, and where some saw freedom, Reddit founder Spez saw possibility, a new world order. So Spez formed a site called Reddit. The goal? Bring together the global population to consolidate control and influence society for profit. With some basic web design, investment backing, and a few backroom deals, and just like that, Spez was in control. He was the first moderator, and in recent years he's become one of the most powerful moderators in history. A statement which will become very important later in this video. But once Spez had a team of moderators and admins to follow his orders, running the internet turned out to be surprisingly easy. Reddit was booming. Spez's network of mods and admins could control internet culture. By influencing internet culture, their control would slowly permeate into our real culture. And with so much influence over the lives of millions, Spez had positioned himself perfectly, because what better way to gain leverage on everyone than if everyone was connected to his site? Reddit mods were the key to running it all. Mods seemed the most ready to stamp on the Enlightenment principles of Western civilization. Nothing would get in the way of them gaining their missing sense of power in their lives. They were the most willing to give over their lives to Reddit. Without hesitation, a few lonely losers jumped on Reddit's moderation teams, offering all their time and energy, working day and night to do the work of Spez voluntarily. With Reddit management behind them, Reddit mods became the most powerful arbiters of global communication. Okay, but what does any of this have to do with these mods looking the same? Well, you see, Spez's team of moderators are a special breed of Spurglord, and it's important we talk about why they do it in the first place. Before becoming a moderator, mods need to be addicted to Spez's pet project, wasting their lives scrolling on not safe for work and generic subreddits as a substitute for their absent real-world connection. They most likely have beef breath like a dog, smell like ass, and were almost always bullied at school. By being bullied, they internalized a need for control, a sort of survival mechanism generated from their traumatic early years. So every day they release their repressed aggression through several forms. Examples include arguing with people in comments, reporting people whose opinions they don't like, banning people for criticizing mods, banning people for the wrong political views, banning people for information they don't like, forcing their opinions onto others, and busting endless unsavory nuts. But their need for control doesn't pertain to themselves, only others. In their real lives, they have very little control over themselves. Self-discipline is like an abstract concept to these people. Self-improvement is a lie. And with such little control over themselves, a nasty online addiction, and resentment hanging heavy in their hearts, they are continually kept in the sad, childish lifestyle. And there are just so many reports of people who live with Reddit moderators to back this up. For example, in one video by GhostGum called Reddit Degenerates, he shows the post of a wife describing the life of a simple Reddit mod. In it, she describes her frustration with her husband not getting a job or even looking for a job because he's got, quote, too much on his plate already. In fact, he has so much on his plate that he doesn't even cook or clean, he just moderates. And if it couldn't get any more pathetic, the top pinned comment was from a moderator called Power Moderator, who couldn't help but start spouting his bloated opinions to flatter his growing sense of self-importance, claiming, quote, I'm seeing many bigoted comments. Any hate towards mods will result in a permanent ban with no warning. This includes but is not limited to calling moderation a fake job or saying that we do it for free. Moderation is one of the most useful jobs to society. Behave or get banned. It's a funny post and it's perfect meme material, but behind this meme is something a lot more serious. Because when it comes to the more powerful power moderators, we are seeing these people molding our society in their image. They are controlling the trends we see in wider society, and all of them are working for the top moderator's spez. But this will become much clearer later on. Okay, so with everything we've discussed so far, it appears one of the first reasons for mods' universal look comes from their lack of personal responsibility. These scruffy and often overweight cheese what's-it smelling mods all share the same lack of self-discipline. Reddit mods' revulsion to personal responsibility is so central to their personality that it is now in itself their political view. Because like their looks, their political views are always uniform. Almost all of them subscribe to the belief that they are owed everything by the world, that working should be abolished, and everyone should be given money just for existing. Like one of Reddit's top dog moderators called, fittingly, Abolish Work. The 30-year-old moderator of the subreddit are anti-work, and in January 2022, she would unmask to the world the face of the Reddit mods running the internet, passionately defending her belief in having no self-discipline or personal responsibility.
I don't understand really what this is about, except it sounds like maybe people are just being lazy. Are you encouraging people to be lazy?
So I think laziness is a virtue in a society where people constantly want you to be productive 24/7.
In response to this classic Redditor statement, the Fox News host asked, what does she do for a living? To which she responds,
so I would like less work hours.
And what do you do, Doreen?
I'm a dog walker.
A dog walker.
It brings to mind the words of Jordan Peterson, if you can't clean up your own room, who the hell are you to give advice to the world? But unsurprisingly, the mods would actually praise this interview and promote it to their fellow Redditors. And if their fellow Redditors responded with criticism, they would also be censored into silence. I mean, it got so bad the mods had to actually make the anti-work subreddit private to silence their critics. Okay, so we've established that almost all of these moderators share the same lack of personal responsibility and discipline. But what's behind their senseless emotional behavior and their apathy towards improving or hell, even taking care of themselves? Well, to understand this, we need to jump back into the story of Reddit. So with Spez's team of mods and admins, Reddit was flourishing. Although with so much leverage over the world, other players wanted a piece of the pie. Because Reddit was a powerful tool, a tool that could influence elections, create billions in profits, generate cultural and social trends, and tap into the psyche of entire populations. If Spez wanted to maximize his profits, he would have to leverage his power. To do so, he courted the world's wealthiest, most powerful people to consolidate control. Dignitaries, world leaders, oligarchs, businessmen. The potential profits of selling Reddit's influence outweighed anyone's moral reservations, which was proven true in 2014, with the introduction of power mods. You see, adverts were yesterday's work. Why not bribe the mods controlling online discussions to influence public opinion for a profit? I mean, what better way to influence public opinion than to hijack where public opinion is formed? It would mean Spez would get paid, mods would get paid, and no one would know about it. But to do this, Spez needed a tightly controlled network of the top moderators. And in October 2014, the first major power mod was born, a mod known as Gallowboob. With over 36 million karma, Gallowboob gained vast control of the top subreddits. Subreddits like r/art, r/relationship advice, and r/roast me. And like most power mods, he's been caught several times secretly taking money from companies to show their products on Reddit. Like when he used his control of r/Hale Corporate to advertise for Netflix. When people on the subreddit began to call him out on it, he would remove every single critical comment. And he was just one of the select few who control almost all of the subreddits, and anyone who raised awareness of this cabal of Reddit mods would get banned from every major subreddit. So in response, Redditors formed a subreddit called r/Cabal to spread awareness of this powerful, dangerous clique of power mods. Unsurprisingly, this subreddit was then also banned. Absolute shock. Sadly, this pattern is now just a regular occurrence. Get banned for criticizing Reddit mods, build communities and protest and moderator abuse, then get banished from the site entirely and repeat. But I'm not really here to talk about Reddit censorship, as I've already discussed much of Reddit censorship in my Tragic Tale of Reddit video. Instead, I want to know where this behavior from power mods stems from. And after doing some more research, the answer really wasn't that surprising, because I believe this behavior is likely a result of their low testosterone. And no, I'm not joking. There is a strong correlation between low testosterone and neuroticism, and neurotic behavior leads to emotional outbursts. Outbursts like angry pinned comments, canceling thought criminals, and mass censorship. So if mods' neurotic behavior is a sign of their low testosterone, then this says a lot about their look, because low testosterone symptoms often include hair loss, increased body fat, loss of muscle mass, mood changes, and low energy. And this low energy is likely behind mods' lack of self-responsibility and self-discipline. It could also be the reason they sit behind a computer all day moderating subreddits, because they don't have the energy to do anything else. I mean, you don't really see any gym bros becoming Reddit mods. So with this mixture of no self-discipline and no testosterone, you get these chinless, overweight, smelly, balding, poorly dressed, scruffy moderators. But there is one part that's missing in all of this. Their condescending, passive-aggressive, over-the-top, moral high ground attitude, despite having no morals at all appearance. A look that makes Reddit mods stand out from the rest. It's just so distinct. But where does this undeserved virtue signaling pretentious attitude come from? Well, this is where everything ties together. Reddit's ironic veneration of tyrannical behavior was always part of Spez's plan. In fact, there is no Reddit without Reddit mods. They do the dirty work for Spez. They keep users within the party line and are rewarded with power and bribes for doing so. They have full support from Reddit leadership, and in particular from Spez, because Spez is the first and most powerful moderator of all. And of course, he has a history of moderator abuse, flexing his power through censoring content he doesn't personally like. Infamously, Spez went into Reddit's literal database to alter and change comments he didn't like to distort posts in the R. Donald subreddit.
We actually saw, this is the craziest thing, the CEO of Reddit manipulated in the database someone's comment who was a Trump supporter. This is like, could you imagine? The CEO did this.
When those in R. Donald called out his distortion of information, Spez used his position as CEO of Reddit to modify comments attacking him to instead criticize R. Donald moderators. And no one could do anything about it. Spez was the creator of this billion-dollar machine. He chooses what the masses see and hear, and encourages all the other big tech giants to do the same. Facebook, Google, TikTok have all adopted the same censorship model generated by Spez. And so unsurprisingly, when it comes to these power mods, they have endless authoritative support. By doing Spez's dirty work, they are doing the dirty work for all the multinationals, big finance, politicians, and media. Mods are paid off by these third-party interest groups to artificially inflate posts promoting these multinationals and corrupt politicians, using Reddit's huge influence to manipulate the masses. Famously, our politics moderators would artificially inflate posts favorable to Hillary Clinton and almost always censor and banish those criticizing her. And there's just so many endless examples of this. But all this shady backroom work keeps the Reddit status quo in check, and as a result, gives Reddit mods full support from the media, multinationals, and political establishment. It's why Spez and the Reddit team is almost never questioned in Congress. It's why corporate woke culture is so prevalent on Reddit. In fact, the whole origins of woke culture originates from Reddit around 2014, exactly the same time power mods became so powerful on the site. It's an uncanny coincidence. And ever since mods became so powerful, we've seen free speech crumble into dust. We've seen the corporatization of the internet. We've seen dangerous social and cultural trends emerge that is now affecting each of our lives. While at the same time, we have to cater to the sensibilities of petulant, hedonistic, control-freak man-babies, who all conform to the same undisciplined, unhealthy, low testosterone lifestyle that generates their distinctive look. And now Reddit, the establishment, big tech, and media give these people the power to silence, censor, and dehumanize all opposition with absolutely no consequence. We are witnessing the revenge of the losers, and it serves to make our culture ever more homogenized, disjointed, hedonistic, corrupt, and corporatized. These Reddit mods are a byproduct of our increasingly narcissistic, overprivileged society. And the worst part of all is that with their support from the establishment, these mods genuinely believe their tyranny is for the greater good. In the words of C.S. Lewis, of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies.